Secret Lair Street Fighter is one of the most hyped products that Wizards has ever released, and for good reason. These cards look absolutely sick, the nostalgia is amazing, and these cards look like they're going to be a lot of fun to add to most people's collections.
Round 1, fight! Hadoken!
At first, we only got to see the 8 legendary creatures, knowing that a 9th card would be included down the road. I assumed this would be something like a token that we saw with the Stranger Things Secret Lair, but no. Wizards pulled out all the stops, and they decided to include one of the most powerful and iconic Magic cards ever to be printed, going back all the way to the Alpha days. We got Lightning Bolt with a new name, Hadoken.
Hadoken!
This card is epic and fun, and a great surprise inclusion from Wizards on this product. Absolutely brilliant business move. We'll touch on that in a second. But first, want to clarify, this does count as a Lightning Bolt, even though it has the new name of Hadoken up top. So deck restrictions apply. I like to think of those names as flavor text. It really isn't a rules part of the card. As far as your rules are concerned, it is a Lightning Bolt. You can't include a deck that has 4 copies of Lightning Bolt and 4 copies of Hadoken. They are the same card. If you were on the fence about buying Secret Lair Street Fighter, now you can consider the fact that there's also a Lightning Bolt. This is easily a $5 to $10 card, and down the road, who knows, it could even get to $20 in a few years. While this Lightning Bolt is really cool, it might seem a little out of place considering that this is really a commander product. You're buying 8 commanders, and then you're getting Lightning Bolt, which doesn't really see any commander play. But upon further inspection, this is absolutely a brilliant move and drives home one of the most important business lessons that you can ever learn. Now, whether you want to open a side hustle, or you want to do your own local game store one day, or you just want to be a better employee, this is a really valuable lesson that one of the most important assets any business can have is the repeat customer. To run a successful business, having a great product or service is really just the start. One thing that's much harder is taking that product or service and actually selling that to your customers and converting that into real dollars and real revenue. That's why businesses will spend so much money on marketing and commissions that by the time they actually sell something to a customer, they'll often lose money on that first initial sale. Don't believe me? Let's walk through a quick example, but before we do, make sure you join the Wolf Pack right now by hitting subscribe. Here's a simplified example of an income statement to really drive this point home. In this case, we're going to use Lego as our example. And in the first sale you ever have for a customer, you sell something for $100 revenue top line. And then you have your cost of goods sold, your COGS. That's what it actually costs to make the product. It's the very first initial expense. It's what most people think of when they start thinking about profit. If you want to sell something, obviously it costs money to make something. That's your COGS, your cost of goods sold. We're going to say that it's $40, leaving you a gross profit, which is just simply revenue minus COGS, of $60. Not bad, a 60% gross profit margin. Once you have your gross profit of $60, you have a bunch of other expenses. We're not going to go into those. It doesn't matter for today's video. But it turns out running a business is pretty complicated. You got a lot of expenses. We're just going to put all of those under miscellaneous. And we're going to say for every $100 worth of Legos you sell, there's going to be $30 of other miscellaneous costs. What is that? 3. Here we go. That looks a little better. And then lastly, we have our advertising expenses, which in this case, to get that first sale, was $35. Well, what does that mean? If you do the simple math, that means we're in the hole $5. It's really hard to write at this angle. Give me a break. It doesn't take 3/4 of an accounting degree to understand that that is not a good business model. For every $100 of things you're selling, you're losing $5. It's not going to last long term. But once you get this second sale, everything starts to change. Now you get the repeat customer and they're on their second sale, and so far everything looks the same, of course. But the big variable is this advertising. So instead of having to run a bunch of commercials and try to grab this person's attention, you got their email address when they made their first purchase, and now you're just sending things right to their email. It's really cheap and easy, so now you only have to spend $5 worth of advertising to get them to buy something else. Now after you've made this second sale, you've actually have $25 worth of profit. So you can see you combine these 2 sales for that one customer, and you have a nice $20 worth of profit after those 2 sales, 10% net income. That's why the repeat customer is so valuable, because getting that first sale is so expensive. There are 2 main ways to get the ever valuable repeat customer, and the first one is fairly obvious and intuitive, which is to sell a very similar product to the same person multiple times, and that similar product will serve a similar need. The Magic equivalent of this is to sell the same draft experience with multiple sets, right? So you go and you draft Innistrad, and then you go and you draft Kamigawa. While these sets are different, you're essentially buying the same experience multiple times. The second way to get repeat customers is a little bit less intuitive, and that's to sell completely different products that serve totally different needs to the same individual. Right? That's why gas stations will also sell food. You're not going to drink gasoline. But you might go and get yourself a big Slurpee and a hot dog, filling 2 complete different needs of fueling your car and fueling your body with a nice, healthy, nutritious Slurpee and hot dog lunch. In the business world, this is often referred to as the land and expand model, so you can imagine yourself a conquistador coming upon the shores of an unclaimed territory and landing your ships and expanding into the new world. In other cases, it might look like you're selling really similar products to the same customer, but they actually fill two complete different needs. So with Lego, you're selling an adult set like a Seinfeld apartment to an adult who wants to build it and just set it up and look at it. And then you could also sell them a little kid set, Batman or Spider-Man or something like that, that they can actually take and build with their kid and have an experience of bonding with their child. Those are two complete different experiences and really complete different product lines, even though yes, they are all Lego. One way that Magic accomplishes this is by having multiple different formats that serve completely different needs and really offer two complete different experiences. For example, you have Commander on one end that's really fun and casual and social and allows deck creativity and to use cool fun cards from your collection. On the other hand, you also have formats like Modern that offer a competitive experience where it's one-on-one, you really get to focus and have a linear deck plan, and you're really trying to maximize your win percentage. You want to take no prisoners and crush your enemy and all their dreams. That's why the inclusion of Lightning Bolt in Secret Lair Street Fighter is so sneakily genius. You have this Commander product. These cards are not even legal in Standard or Modern. They're really just made for Commander, and yes, technically Legacy and Vintage. And then you include Lightning Bolt that doesn't really see Commander play. You're really targeting two complete different audiences with one product. There are a lot of Magic players who really kind of stick to their one format. I personally really only play Modern. I don't play much Commander. There are a lot of people who are the exact opposite. But this product really appeals to both audiences, and it allows me to start building my collection of Commanders naturally if I want to get these Lightning Bolts, and vice versa. If someone wants all these Commanders, well, now they have an extra Lightning Bolt rolling around in case they do want to decide to try their hand at something more competitive. And then we can get these two different experiences. The Commander player can have a nice competitive experience, and the competitive player who maybe focuses on their Modern 1Ks can now sit back and relax and try a nice social format by playing Commander. And these are two complete different experiences. They're essentially two complete different games, all within Magic. And really, there's not even a ton of overlap in the type of cards that C play in Commander and Modern. Yeah, the lands and everything like that, but for the most part, there's a really different card pool that experiences in these two formats because they're basically two different games. The inclusion of Lightning Bolt seems so innocent, but after diving in, it's very clear that this is an absolutely brilliant business move. It allows players to start to cross-experience into different formats and have different experiences, and thus want to include Magic in more parts of their lives and buy more product, which is the repeat customer, that absolutely golden goal when it comes to business.